Welcome back to the South Indian Epic Cycle miniseries. This will be the sixth and final episode of this miniseries. So I don't know if six is considered mini because some people use that term miniseries where you're saying, oh, it's about 5 episodes and all that, 5 or less. But it's a limited series, so to speak, which is just a passion project that I've been wanting to do, which is to recreate the scenario of the Free Captives War, except it doesn't have the Free Captives Casus Belli as it did from the old Chola series from Crusader Kings 2 that I did way back in late 2019. And so, ever since I've started recording this series so far, I would probably argue that this is way more epic than the old one, in terms of drama and all that. In terms of, everything from personal to hostile. There were assassinations, there were murders, there was war, devastation, everything. Including a tiger hunt of sorts from the previous episode, which is how Vikramâtittâ became a novice hunter. It was through a court, when we were holding court in here, tell us about, oh, there's this giant lion at Calicut, and he went out and he took care of the matter. Of course, we can't hold court again until 834 next year, which would likely be the post-war period, I would have to assume, knowing how long it's going to take, because this is what the sixth and final episode will be about. It's about the conclusion of a very deadly war in terms of casualties, and as well as the death of one of the important members of the Chola family, my brother, Periyapalai, who fought in Lanka, had fought there during the early half of the war, during the first 23 months of the war, before he was later murdered by this man, who I murdered him back. So we've took care of that matter, which is, again, it's just all part of the cycle of vengeance. In fact, this might as well be one would think it's an alternate name of this series. Besides the South Indian Epic Cycle, it could also be the Cycle of Vengeance, which it's like we don't have a grudge against the entire house of Vengi Chalukya. No, we have issues with the Pallavas as well, which is the ones who ruled over the Cholas back in 769 AD, at the beginning, obviously, as a part of the backstory from way back when. And the Pallavas are considered the mortal enemies of the Cholas, at least in this series. I don't know about historically, because you don't know too much information about the Cholas during their Dark Age, other than they were vassals of the Pallavas. I mean, if you look at the period between the Sangam period and up until the rise of Vijayalaya Chola, first emperor. But as we look at the memories of Vikramâtittâ here, which again, a lot has happened. Again, it all started back in July 6 of 826. They became rivals. That's when he found out that during that time, that his wife, which I'm trying to reconcile with her, so which is why I've been swinging her as late, so I can try to reconcile. Like, maybe I should not just be, we shouldn't be angry at each other all the time. It's just, we should change. And no, not that button. This one. 1 second, I'll bring it back to the memory up in a moment. So it started 5 years ago. And before the war, as the memory goes on, so it started around the fall of 827. That's when the war occurred. It started. And so, prior to that, he chased down, in Sagana they slew Kulasakara's livestock. Kulasakara Chera is what I call him, because he's from the Chera dynasty. And then mother passed, and even though Nârani left me long ago. Ever since she was... Again, this all started when she was taken prisoner. When the army of Vengi Chalukya, who was then allied with Lanka during the Lankan War, a tributary war, Chalukya Army deliberately went to Madurai, which Vikramâtitâ was ruling then. They imprisoned his wife, they took him up there, and then she went to Vengipura to live over there, who was ruled by Kadeyaraja, my rival. Because of my wife. Yeah, so it all started back then. And this is that's a description of how they became lovers in detail, but this is actually their second time they were lovers. They kind of broke up one time and then they got together at some point, which I'm sure it's there somewhere, but... Although we had encountered him before during the Lankan War, Periyapalai captured him, but it doesn't say anything about personal relations with him. From all that. And as we go back to here, in January, this is during the war period, married to Rajaditya. And then later during that war of 829, I believe that was the year that he got assassinated. Yes, on the 5th September he was assassinated. So earlier that year, Periyapalai, my brother, and my Jewish friend here, who's the mayor, the Cochin Jewish, because that's what he is, they threw me a surprise party, a birthday party, as a surprise, which I don't know what gift they gave me, because they would have indicated as such. Let me find that history-wise. Yes, this is from the birthday. So this was the birthday gift from my Jewish friend. A quail eggshells gem. A colorful piece of eggshell passing as a gem. That was the birthday gift that he gave me. And obviously I was serving as part of the retinue of the army of Periyapalai. So we have to assume that, I mean, just conjure up stories, alright? It's role-playing, you know? As this series is largely role-playing. So it happened during the campaign, and he was at his tent, or went to the tent, and then, oh, surprise! And then, and so he picked a smaller gift. He could have picked a medium or a large gift, but went with this one. This helps with fertility despite the drop of prestige for having something like that, but for the sake of remembrance, get this repaired. Birthday gift. Don't lose it. It's for the memories, alright? From the time of my Jewish friend and my brother. And then during the course of the war, as you saw it earlier on videos, on the 5th of September, that's when he was murdered. He became the ruler of Tamilakam. And I've commanded and won 2 different battles against Vengi Chalukya. My daughter was born. Defeated him again, and became friends over a feast lately. And then my son, a wild oat, was born because of those 2, especially you. Right. And so now we get to this point. This war has been going on for 5 years, and knowing it's going to be entering in its 6th year of the war by the time when we go on the offensive, defeat them one more time in another big battle, since they're starving themselves out, which is good. That means advantage us. And then once we take Vengipura and the other holding, we will win this war for good, and that'll be the end of it. And as well as the immediate aftermath of what am I going to do with Nârani. Even though I'm trying to reconcile her a little bit, but I do have a special plan related to her, knowing she's been unfaithful to me, and that's irredeemable at this point. and I noticed that obviously she's a Jain, and my primary wife is a Jain too. I'm thinking about converting to Jainism. Maybe I should follow my father's path, because knowing some of the things that I've done, especially me being an impatient man. Is impatience a sin in Jainism? No. No, it isn't. But, I mean, it's good to know. I mean, humility, is that a virtue? Yes. Yes, I'll be a more devoted Jain after this war's end. I mean, I'm kind of stammering right now because just think about what that man's gone through. He's had a near-death experience, which he'll get over by the end of this year. He's a bit of an oversharer with his close confidant. He's quite a bit superstitious, so I'm thinking that maybe Lord Shiva has something against me, such as, why can I not kill my rival? Why won't you, like, why am I deprived of this? I'm fighting for my wife and my honor. And I promise, where is it? Still there. I will commission a hero stone for my brother once this is all over. Expedite siege. Oh, it was a decision. That's what it was. From the previous episode, I was looking for. It's like, is that a character decision? No, it's right there all along. I must have missed that. But it relates to sway game progress. That's what that's for. Read that again. Accelerate your scheme in exchange for stress. I mean, that works on sway, but assassination, does that apply to assassination? And I will consider assassinating Kadeyaraja, my rival. But unfortunately, he has his supporters, but give it or take, I will have that man rid of. But it says it may take about 17 months. Fine by me, because later this year, I will challenge him to a duel one more time. Just one more time. And the other alternative is, we know he's still in the army. If anybody can capture or kill him, particularly kill, I will reward whoever defeats Kadeyaraja in battle. And if you fail that, I will have to take matters to my own hands. And most importantly, it must be kept a secret. Nârani must not know that I am responsible for his demise in such a manner that is unjust and unhonorable in the battlefield. That isn't related to the battlefield. So that's my plan. We will go on the offensive for one last battle, and then we will capture and sack Vengipura, which was the goal that my brother originally wanted, because he originally wanted riches for it. But I have my own reason of why I want Vengipura. My wife lives there, and if we're lucky, we could capture her alive. She will not be executed for adultery, no, knowing that I have plans of becoming a Jain after war's end, which is just a way of atoning for my sins. Even though I am not a sinner in any way, shape, or form, it's just... Look, the first man I killed was back in the Lankan War. This one was murder, but nobody knows this yet. So remember, this September, which is a couple of months away, we'll challenge him to a duel. But if anybody manages to capture or kill, they'll be rewarded handsomely. And when he is captured, should I consider execution? Or just let him be released and go with the assassination plan anyway, like I still want to get rid of him by any way, shape, or form. It depends on how I feel. after, going after the man that's been long eluded me. Each time we fight against them, they still walk away. But, enough talk. Let's get moving. We'll be there in 46 days. Another ally of theirs joined. He's from all the way up there. It makes a little difference. It's too late for him to contribute to anything. And plus, we will finally deploy our secret weapon, the war elephants from the mercenary band, which the contract that we have is only going to last 3 years, which the war won't last that long. Defending a river crossing, more commander chase. Is that so? Well, it's only because we're going to be going ahead of all of them. But don't get too overconfident about this. Oh look, more mercenaries. Wait a minute. They got elephants! Where does he get this money? I'd like to find out. Architect. Administrator. Check his stewardship. Just short of being avaricious, and he decided to go over to medicine. Aha, gold obligations. Maybe he's been demanding payment for hooks for his fellow family members to get money off of them. Including the one who rules Vengipura. I see. That's where he gets his money from. And just out of curiosity, I don't know if you have time for this, but go to check the realm espionage for 5 months. Don't let them get away. They're going after the area where they have elephants now. Go, go, go! They must not retreat to the jungle. Oh, we're gonna get cut off. I mean, we're trying to move as fast as we can, but moving these elephants, it does take quite a bit of movement speed. Damn it, they're getting away. That means we'll have to fight them in the jungle. So they're going with them. And allegedly they have a better army commander, but don't worry, friendly reinforcements will be behind us. And keep in mind, elephants are used best in jungles. Who's their army commander that's said to be the best around? It's gotta be the captain. Okay. So the elephants are not in the jungle just yet. We'll be there in 6 days, but... Okay, this army is gonna get away. We'll encounter the elephants and their settlement out there too. So we'll encounter all but one army over there, including those from Vengipura, where Kadeyaraja is still there. Where are you going? Is there trouble back home? Because you're taking the scenic route. Are you insane? Well, I have a bad feeling about this because this is actually going to be a much tougher battle than we originally thought. But I don't think elephants do well in hills, and neither do theirs. No, they're fine with hills. At least we don't have to fight them in the jungle, but this is actually going to be a tough battle. They say we'll probably lose. But friendly reinforcements will be on the way. Do not... What are you... You're abandoning me. Actually, that's one of their bad commanders. But they got a whole lot of men out there. They'll be there in 15 days. But they got a bad commander, fortunately, so we may win this one instead. Despite the fact that they brought some elephants along. Noticing a weak spot in our line, I moved my personal guard to assist the men before the weak spot turns to a break point. As me and my men work to fight back the pressing enemies, I noticed a particularly violent encounter happening a short distance to my right. Nârani has got himself encircled by the enemy's forces' footmen, and is desperately fighting against significant odds. Whilst I have faith in Nârani's fighting ability, I don't think he'll last while being outnumbered. I was about to say, who do you serve? Step aside, Nârani. I will handle this. Use my combat experience to decimate attackers, and I will become a battlefield legend. Unlike my brother, which he fought many battles himself, but hopefully this will turn the tide. Because when you're a battlefield legend, your martial goes up and so is your prowess, and you will have an additional number. Maybe we can bring back some of the old hands that we've retired originally. General opinion goes up and up the advantage. Because this is a critical battle. Fighting up the hills where elephants on both sides are involved. Even though we're against a bad commander of theirs, but reinforcements from the two armies are going to be arriving here. One in 9 days and another in 12 days. So they're going to be throwing their bodies over here. So I'll handle this. Charging into the fray, I raise my blade and behead one of the larger foes with one fell swing. A few other attackers to stop, stunned as I push Nârani aside and ready my blade for the others. A few of them step towards me, and I instantly turn into action. One drops, had the men slashed open. Another stumbles towards me nervously before I smash the hilt of my sword into their skull, and then lunge my blade into their chest. One more charges at me, knocking me to the ground, but as they dive down with their warhammer to crush me, I roll aside and slash their arm off. The armless enemy screams in agony, writhing on the floor as I stand myself back up and throw a fearsome gaze at the other attackers who now stand terrified to look at each other in discomfort. Placing my foot on the armless screaming soldier's chest, I hold him whilst driving the end of my sword through his neck. As I drag my sword from his corpse, I twirl the weapon in my hand and step towards Vikramâtittâ, who scurry away in fear. Vikramâtittâ, I owe you my life, says Nârani, who stood next to various other knights who were equally stunned by my performance. This will definitely be a moment that I will be remembered for. Men, with me, charge! Lost and iron wounded, and since you are a poet, perhaps you will write a poetry about my exploits. So, go tell her what you have witnessed. Right. Remember the rally point. Country. And then, I remember a few old hands that I would force them in. Brother, you're coming back with me. I was about to say, is the old Hun still around? The old white Hun? Or has he passed on since and I wasn't aware? No, he's wandering. On the Maldives, really? He went to go on vacation. I need you back here, right now. He's enjoying his vacation to the islands there. But I need him. I'll be notified that he's returned. But the battle is still not over, as I am now the overseer. Little more martial equals little more advantage. Now. Enjoying your vacation, Yudhishthira. You are one of the old hands. You are one of the good fighters. I'm forcing you to be part of this as well, because you still got decent combat skill. In fact, once this battle's over, meet us at Vengipura. So I want you to be stationed at Vengipura. Check back in the tent. Friendly reinforcements will be arriving on 12 days. We're winning the battle. Soon enemy reinforcements are en route to here. Yudhishthira, Vartar, and Pala's Nada. Station yourself at the river. Because once this soul will come down and meet you. 45 advantage because of this. As the battle progresses, I take some time to sit back from the combat and observe my forces and the tactical decisions I may need to make to ensure victory. During my time observing the army's strategic potential, I noticed a handful of fighters from my own base making significant progress on the flank of the enemy's charge. One individual particularly catches my eye as I watch them single-handedly take down 4 opponents on their own. Looking left to right, I observed the rest of my army and pondered the thought I need fresh blood in my ranks at some point. As I glanced at the young soldier fighting boldly, I wonder if maybe I should consider his skills as a fighter. Bring him to me. Anything to lower my stress. Kadeyaraja. Young man, you may join my retinue sooner or later. Had another thought. I don't think anything has happened to Kadeyaraja. I will most definitely consider assassinating him now, knowing it's going to take a long time for this. And the expedite schemes thing? Yeah, it applies to both, just as I expected, whenever you're feeling impatient. There's only one agent willing. One-legged man. Well, every little bit helps, but the rest could be convinced, including Rudramadevi, the wife of his. Ah. Pay 50 and then you bribe her again for... Cannot believe I'm spending more gold than needed. You know him intimately, in and out. And I'll convince you soon, but... Well, we'll check back on it sooner or later. Jayaditya. How he was one of my bodyguards. Our warrior has fallen. Was made by, and then you got him back. Oh, this again. Kadeyaraja. Shavite. That's not one of ours. Again, we still see more of the details of what I've been doing. Still reading down there. Okay. Now, if this happens again. Glad we got youths that'll be joining our ranks soon, as this battle finally comes to a bloody close. Lost 2 allied commands, including my bodyguard. He was gout-ridden, slain by Krishna. Oh, he's from an army of theirs. That's from over there. Was part of that war. An old man and a missionary too, absurdly enough. And he's very strong for a man of his age. But I'm sure with the army split up, it's going to take some time for them to regroup again. But now we have an assassination plot against him that is plausible now. I could convince one more, but if... I mean, obviously she refuses because you find us immoral, lover, and all that. They, wait a minute, he actually made you spy master? The Mudaoran? What's your intrigue skill? Hey, she isn't even that good. She's compassionate. She wouldn't do such things. The only other person that's closest to try to convince one another is this one, but that requires swaying. And he's the physician, but he's a callous person, so he can't be that reasonable. Plus, it'll be 25 and all this, and then you gotta wait for events to build up organically to improve upon it. And if you reach to 95, then expedite the scheme to increase the progress further so I can get rid of him for good. Don't call the other one yet. Now, the siege will begin. Now that there's time. Once we're at by the walls, I'm gonna tell Kadeyaraja that, as a reminder, this September 7th, you may one more time. Unless you want to chase down the Nârani of Vengipura again. More reinforcement is what we need. Yeah, some of that are going back to sea now. Siege begins. Just take 11 months unless you bring siege weapons here, and it'll be good. What if they'll retreat all the way to that? Young man, that's there. Let's sail on over here. The army's besieging Mudagunda, so we'll have these both settlements down soon. It's just it's a bit crowded out here. Everybody going in different directions with armies retreating, so we shouldn't face them anymore. But, unfortunately, no news on Kadeyaraja. But Vijaya, you're still the man. You're the best. Why aren't you the battlefield legend? But I am at that moment. That's their best fighter. Oh, they have that tradition now for the Telugu. Martial admiration. That means even if you wound them, it's not going to lower their combat skill. That could be a potential problem. You only kill about 23. I want to know how much money do they have. We have the crossing blocked, so they're gonna have to force to go into. I don't know if I know they don't do river travel. They have to take the long way around because we got that passage blocked. Join up. Look, I don't need to know the men. I need to know the money. 197. Probably spent a fortune to get these elephants. But also, I got another task for you. Support the scheme. Every little bit helps. It's gonna be 7 months, which there's still time to try to challenge him to a duel. Knowing him. But especially what I've become these days, I think he'll be rather intimidated at me that I have improved since when we last fought. I mean, he's got to accept it. He's got to. And you might as well stop swaying around him, knowing that it would be much better if we could sway this man. We can't bribe him, but if we can, well, one, send him a little gift, which will get our money back through, I don't know. There's little time for it, but at least try to sway him a little. Are they gonna go by sea, or are they gonna go on a suicide mission? Come on, with me. Again, I don't want to put the siege engineer to be in charge of this siege because I am deliberately taking part of the siege because I must have the decision to imprison whomever and whatever and all that. I want to have that honor. Mundiguna will fall first, and they're gonna get the loot, not I. Two, one. Oh, they're crazy. They're coming up here just to try to stall the siege a little. We know some of the Chalukya are with them. But they got a very good commander, but it makes little difference. Got defensive buildings they may have, but we will best them. So prepare for battle. This is going to be a bit of a delay on the siege for Vengipura. I don't think the allies need to come here. They're bringing the elephants and the warriors. took his son. In fact, he's one of the heirs to one of those kingdom titles. There's more money in this, you know. Murder? I didn't know you were murdering a Kinsara contract. Oh, he admitted it. Murdered his brother. When did this happen? Check on the memories on him. When did he murder? Murder. I mean, it would say that somewhere, right? It says I murdered. Well, check the date again. 114, that's way before. 114. Yeah, brother was murdered. Yeah, by you. And we don't know when the date that... Let's go to grudges. When did he admitted it that he did indeed? I mean, it's got to be during the war, obviously. It's good that you admit it. It not only shows that you're a bad person, but hey, nobody can hold secrets forever. And also we captured that mercenary captain. I'm sure you are paid well. Really? Never mind. But I know he'll pay. It doesn't count up to the war score for the prisoners, because that's not the relevant goal here. We do not have Jayaditya, the son of Jayaditya, imprisoned yet. So, 50 gold it is. If we catch him next time on a battlefield, then it's going to be his head. Valuable support from the local community. Members of the local steppe community are keenly aware of mutual external threats to our continued prosperity, and they provided me with some military supplies and intelligence as a result. Both the supplies and the information have come from various contexts to cross the Silk Road, stretching all the way from the furthermost reaches of Central Asian steppes and Siberia. My efforts to reinforce relations with them have not been in vain, it seems. If we're to stand together, prosperous, as partners along the Silk Road, we need to trust and work with each other like this. I'm glad we're on the same side. So we got minor intel from the Silk Road. This is actually helps with both the personal and hostile schemes, and up the advantage of it. So this character has allies in the local community of foreign origin who recently used their networks across Silk Road to provide this character some useful information about the various sponsored schemes currently. Oh yeah, this will help. So we can get him sooner or later. Yeah, they're not coming back, but unfortunately, they're still with him. But September 7th is coming up. See to if he accepts the offer of the duel. If he doesn't, then he's... I could have sworn. Oh, it's because we faced me and then it expired and he challenged me. Well, never mind then. I guess assassination it is. Invite him in. Never mind then. I cannot challenge him to a duel again because he challenged me first. All the holdings will be besieged. This will be the war's end here. Nine months. Those new people here. Anybody better? No. I wish there are ways to further increase your intrigue. What's your intrigue skill? Help me with this. Every little bit helps. Now it's 80% chance. But 95 secrecy, so... Yeah, had to... expedite those games right now. Why should I wait forever when I feel ready? Let's try my chance now. It's now or never. This games are ready. So we're moving the timetable. Won't affect your skill, obviously. Fickle and craven. Well, every little bit helps, you know. Are you sure there's no one else that'd be willing to join the plan? Just hope that none of these two aren't discovered. So that means, again, we can never get him out on the battlefield like this, but I want my rival dead. And I will have my wife back. And that'll be the end of it. And look here. They've taken it. They've occupied it, but that's partial. But now we will soon have Vengipura. And that will be the end of it. You hear me? So I am deprived of challenging him to a duel. So I have no choice but to murder that man. Knowing how soldiers act around each other, noticing how freely information and rumor flows, I'm struck by an idea. If some of my own soldiers were to infiltrate his army, they might offer a different insight to his plans. As I'm an overseer, time for Kadeyaraja to get some new recruits. It'll lower secrecy, but it adds more to the power and success chance. It's good. Gossip spreads very fast among soldiers. I could learn a lot, as long as my agents stay out of trouble. Every little bit helps, but adds more. So it's the best we can do with it. So to occupy another territory, further adding up to the war score, but I will not end that war till Vengipura is taken, bring my wife back, and get that man killed. It's progressing each month, and it'll jump up and up. Disease outbreak now. 6 years. 6 long years. And this war will finally come to an end. The enemy armies are too far away to be worried about. And again, I will have the honor of winning the siege myself as the leader of this siege. And then we can imprison anyone that we see. But however, we should do it on a case-by-case basis. We should try that differently this time, because I need the agents to assassinate Kadeyaraja. That's another thing that we should take into consideration. So we can't just imprison everybody, indiscriminately. No, just the only person I want to imprison is my wife. It's just a way to get her back. I'm sorry. It's the way it is during wartime. 97% war score. So that means Vengipura is going to be the last one to fall. And your time will come. As we're counting down the days. Yeah, they're gonna try to come back here knowing we've occupied some territories. But perhaps we should fight them one more time, even if the objective's already taken. Disease outbreak. But they're not starving, which would have helped with the siege progress. Because that's gonna be the way it is then. Now, this will finally be over. This very month. Now this latter part of January will be the end of the war. Unless we want to fight against them one more time. Our agents have been in contact with a warrior from a distant land. His tools and methods are strange, but he is perpetually as fierce with his strange curved blade as he is stealthy. Perhaps we employ them to help Kadeyaraja along his way. Huh. Well, one would think, you know, one would think it's from that part of the local community of foreign origin, those steppe people that knew a little bit about intrigue. And then, obviously, the only foreigners we know are those white Hun remnants from Mahadavasaka. So, this is probably the foreign warrior. Again, just imagine it for role-playing reasons that we have this man who is obviously could be related to who Yudhishthira knows from his people. Hired and then sent along his way. And plus, mercenaries are used on both sides, so there's some logic to it. Because there's a couple of foreigners. And strange curved blades, so it's got to be definite on a... Because, well, don't we use curved swords around here in India as well? Yes, we do. We do use curved blades, as you can see down here. All better to hire someone with no connections or interests here. Now, it's an 85% chance. It's still a very good chance that he would get killed. Go for it. Our hired assassin, a foreign warrior, crept into the quarters of Kadeyaraja and successfully ended his life. However, it turns out this foreigner was not as skilled as Skidway as we were informed, and he was captured. No doubt his or whoever's close to him. Perhaps next time we should keep it in-house. So, for outliving my rival, my stress has been lowered, but unfortunately I'm known as a murderer, and I will atone for those sins, as I do plan on becoming a giant. For that, I guess that means not only the Vengi Chalukya really dislike me now, but also my wife Nârani. I killed her lover. So I'm no longer overwhelmed by stress now. No longer stressed. That period has come to pass now. We were starting to get along again, but you're about to be taken prisoner. We got him. We sent out a foreign warrior to kill him. I wish it was with my hands, but it cannot be. It cannot be done. Here it is, 23rd of July. I step out of my tent. The siege camp sprawls out before me, a haphazard pile of tents and shacks occupying the muddy ring of a forgotten village square. A few banners flutter in the wind. It smells of smoke and sweat and horse dung. My loyal retainer approaches and informs me that the siege has ended. I gather my bodyguards and head to the edge of the camp. The Nârani of Vengipura stands before me. A charnel house. In the fields between, the rotting remains of dead men lie in heaps, tangled and contorted. Everywhere bodies are littered amid the rubble, and their corpses flicker with the flames licking at the ribs. The smoke bellows in the breeze, not cleared even by the rapid storms that have ravaged this place for weeks. Survivors huddled in the shadows of makeshift huts made from felled trees and fallen bricks. Ahmed looked at me for direction. So yeah, this is what that gruesome scene looks like for Vengipura around here. Oh. But we've taken it after more than 6 years. Development level is 6. That's what it said here. But you know, originally my original plan was to, it's like, okay, I want one prisoner, but since the man is now gone, your rival, now that he's dead, even though now I'm a murderer, I don't want to burn it all down because some of that development is needed. So let my army run wild for a while. My men dragged the surviving court of the Nârani of Vengipura before me after the siege. What shall I do with them? The important ones, including my wife. We can imprison them all instead. Their attitude they'd actually be more angry with me due to all of this. And I know you're going to be angry at me too. Did say all the important ones. We don't need to imprison them all because once we've taken this territory, they all become wanderers. They will all roam around the countryside. So imprison only the important ones, including Rundari. So, is she here now with me? Yes. And before we will finally declare peace, something just popped up. Perennial excuse. This is with my primary wife, locals, and one of my sisters-in-law. Each day, it seems my court is abuzz with the talk of the next banquet. Maya. Yes, Maya, my food taste seems more lethargic with each session. Remember, Maya was the wife of Periapalai, my brother. She seems more lethargic with each session, sweating more profusely at each foreign fancy is lifted in her mouth. The culinary activities fueled by locals and Rajata's constant vying to demand a most memorable meal from my overworked cooks. Today is my sister-in-law, Ramajata, who drools, my liege. Tonight I'm having the kitchens prepare the richest sauce known to man, served with a 10-bird roast, licking her lips hungrily. My Raj Purohit sighs disapprovally. These fleeting pleasures are nothing compared to Shiva's grace. Even though I'm a tempered man, but I would love to have the court grandeur up a bit. So why not? Let's have the best food around because the war is over. Yes, war is over. We should celebrate this fact. Wild oat of a now deceased has been murdered by me, and I'm sure that my vassals will not look at me positively in such a way, but do not worry, we'll make it up for it. You can stop swaying now, it's irrelevant at this point. And I know my wife dislikes you very much, but let me see. It's not Shevite. This is a perennial marriage. You could divorce. This is a reason why I say I must convert to Jainism as soon as the war is over. Get it through her, and then order her to take the vows because her beauty is a curse. Nobody should defile her ever again. I do not want to kill her, because we're not rivals. We never had a rivalry between each other. My issue with them in the first place, because they took my wife, and she fell in love with this man, who is now dead, and all of that. And if anybody dares to hold a grudge against me, well then, so be it. I will have the Nârani of Vengipura. But even though it says that he would become my vassal, but I'd rather have him kicked out. But, you know, there's that domain limit, which is an issue. Well, we shall enforce the demand, as these 6 years of war, even though one would think the war actually started way back when we fought in Lanka. And there was an interwar period, and then there was the raid, and then the war itself. Just what this whole epic cycle was about. So many nations came here from nearly all corners of India, from one place to another. But it is human beings who paid the price for all of this. So. No vassals. All belongs to me. But Mundigunda is to be held by this vassal. Unfortunately, I won't have the diamond mines. So, there you have it. War's over. And now we will deal with the aftermath. This episode will be continuing a little longer. This will be the aftermath period of this whole bloody war. And hopefully, the horrors of war should not be repeated again. And I know some of your vassals may not like me because 1, I'm a murderer, and 2, we had a long offensive war. And I doubt there is time to have another feast. No, not time. But we should have our own little Ashoka the Great moment, which is referencing how Ashoka, when he fought against Kalinga, which is in this area, and he saw the horrors of war after that defeating a major battle with the Kalinga kingdom, and this began his process of converting to Buddhism, while some Buddhist sources say that he became a Buddhist right then and there. So now, when I have my moment, where due to the influence of being with my devoted, loyal wife, even though I'm a battlefield legend, I've killed many men as a soldier, while I killed 3 noted individuals, including Kadeyaraja through a murder plot. But nobody knows this one, which the Pallavas don't know, but the Vengi Chalukya, they know. And my wife, Nârani, knows it too. But soon, we're going to make her take the vows, as a way of telling her to just get out of my life. Just go be a nun. I do not wish to see you, and I hope you will atone for your sins and misdeeds. So I will adopt Svetambara Jainism. I will follow the path of my father, who was a Jain, of a different sect, but still. All that's missing is 70. I'm nodding my head. Yeah. I guess we can wait. Ah, yes, the Hero Stone. Don't forget about the Hero Stone. Actually, there is another way that we can get piety. Diwali. We should celebrate Diwali in the... No. Hero Stone. You gain piety through Hero Stone. Yeah, we will convert to Jainism right then and there. But as a final act, while as a Shivaite Hindu, the death of an ancestor might be the cause to celebrate a life and important events, particularly military ones. Perhaps I could benefit from erecting a Hero Stone. So this is only for ancestral rune stones, and you do have a recently deceased ancestor. Are we talking about Parantaka, or my brother Periyapalai, or my murdered sister, or my grandparents? What are they talking about here? But this will make all direct vassals, those who are a little bit against me because they're tired of the war. Every hero stone through the ages. Every hero stone tells a message of some significant event in the life of the commissioner, from the smallest peasant to the Iraya like myself. The stone records all. What this monument speak of? My departed brother, Periapalai. I have finished the war you have started. There will be a hero stone carved for you, so the rune stone will speak of a departed family. Now that I have decided what to put on my rune stone, the question remains where to place it. Memorials to family, like Periapalai, encourage respect and fealty. They are best placed in areas that think little of me, where I can make example of my dedication and servitude to higher powers. Of course, one or two spots do spring in mind. Should we put it in Vengipura, where we just conquered? Popular opinion. Check the popular opinion. Yeah, Vengipura it is. Hero Stone carved it there. I mean, he wanted Vengipura long ago. He wanted that place for himself. So now I conquered it. So in his honor, we shall place the Hero Stone in Vengipura. So it'll be there for the next 50 years. I've gained all the piety and the prestige for this. And my vassals will be pleased. As you saw, Vikram weeping, crying about the death of his brother, who was his friend too. So this will calm it down. Get it under control. There. We've honored the memory of my brother this way. So now, we got a couple more things to do on this very day. The day after the war was over, we commissioned a hero stone dedicated to my brother, who I miss him deeply. But now I will adopt Svetabharam Jainism. Although most will accept, including some friends who are dear to me. Sometimes I wish there was an option where it's like, yeah, I'm going to be converted in this faith, but wish you make that as an option. I'm sure there's a mod out there. Oh, yeah, just one thing to note for you viewers. If there's a mod out there where it's like when you convert a faith, where it's like you find a ways, it's like you tell your vassals like, oh, you don't need to convert this faith. You can keep yours if you like and all that. Yeah, something like that along those lines. But still, it's just a demonstration that it is it's an end of an era. So with my decision to convert to Sventambaret, I've arranged for the new Granta to come to my court and conduct the rites. With the fate of my immortal soul in question, I can only pray that I've made the right decision. Metaphysica aside, I could take comfort in knowing that the majority of the realm stands united under the gods, a true Sventabara realm. At least I have him to guide me. Muni. Yes. And now, the fate of my wife. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna have to divorce you. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just all the things that have occurred as of late. And you're the reason why so many men died fighting for you. I mean, not directly, but you get what I mean. In a sense of, my brother wanted Vengipura. I wanted you back. Until I found out you fell in love with another man. And you despised me for it. And now you despise me even more. Because I killed a man you loved. And all that. So, we have the divorce. I'm sorry. It's nice to see it dressed like that. And now, in order you to take the vows for you to become a Jain nun. And then you'll leave the prison. And so you can get out of this sinful life you've been living in of adultery. I mean, after all, you're still a good person at heart. You're still compassionate. But remember, that beauty of yours is a curse. And while you were there during the war, apparently you had a dedicated poem about all the joys of life, dedicated by name. You are a compassionate woman after all. Despite our differences, you can go. You want freedom, you'll have it. We'll hear from it in a couple of days. The dark cave. One of the children at court had taken a wooden sword of a younger boy and thrown it to a nearby cave. My daughter was there and saw it all happen. She got hold of the household guards and forced him to go into the cave. His terrified screams could be heard for several minutes before he emerged with the toy. It seems when she thinks it's in the right angle, she won't stop until she makes it happen. Stubborn, ain't you? But honestly, knowing you should have gone in there yourself without fear. Jedicha. The heir. Yes, I know he was close to. Oh, and of course, the brother. That happened too. To the miserable Vikramâtittâ. Calling me miserable? I guess you do hold a grudge against me for murdering the man you love. I have no choice but to accept your conditions for my release. Nârani. Farewell, Nârani. She is now an Aryaka, Jain nun. Would be leave a close family member behind. I mean, she is on my court, but since she's compassionate, I mean, she wouldn't do anything to me. She wouldn't kill me or anything in retaliation. That's not her way. But she'll be atoning for her sins in this way. So you were released, and subsequently you are now a nun. While I must atone for my own sins myself. I gotta meditate. And once I return from meditation, we'll hold court. Let's go up to the rolling hills of Vengi, way up there by the border, next to the Chalukya border. See you in 6 months. Everybody's going home with those fellow soldiers. That was a vehicle passing by. News Singhai. Tamil Jayan. It's good to know. And since you're converted to Jain, does that mean everybody else is? Some, but not all. Especially of areas where... I mean, there's still Dingavar Jains here, but now it's become a large minority. Why do I need to know that? Do I have your pin? Oh, no. There's one down there. Oh no, the realm is split. That's what's going on up there. Why do I still have this on? I'd rather take theology focus. Oh my goodness, what happened to him? I didn't do it. Twisted turns of fate had always been my revenge. Lieutenant Nakaras knows I was cursed the day that I met him about it. That curse has been lifted. Fate smiled upon me. brought that Losabampa to his grave. My goodness, him too died from his wounds, especially during the final battle. He was a strong man. He got wounded. I think what happened is they probably gave him a botched treatment, and then he died for it. The two of the mightiest warriors of Vengi Chalukya are dead. The old man's gotta be saddened about this. But he can hold a grudge all he wants, but knowing him, he could potentially assassinate me, but just in case, get another bodyguard. Konaga you with me. Don't want anybody getting hurt around here. Ah, you were the physician. You're the one who's been keeping men I killed alive. How'd you like to come to court? I mean, we hold no ill will towards the Cochin Jews. We have no ill will towards them. So you could come here. And I could tell your nose is different because you've been disfigured. Something must have happened to you in the past. Did you have a rivalry at one point? No, he had a lot of friends. Now he's with me because in our world we respect the Cochin Jews, which in fact they're still the large minority over there. I mean, there's actually more people of that faith than there's those people themselves. You know what I mean? So we're releasing everybody that we know of. And a mercenary captain is dead, one of the elephants that they brought over. I was about to, check that last battle, which I don't think he was there for that. No, he wasn't there. I would have liked to know who wounded him, unless I missed something. So you can watch back on the video to see who wounded Vengi Chalukya. Bit of a tongue twister name. Not a daughter. So, two of the best warriors are now gone. They both died on this very year. This was indeed the last year of the war. Again, all these pinned characters, these are just all relevant characters of this series. That's what we're pointing out to. So, we will end the episode in a few things. You actually care about this man? I'll pay. It's prisoner exchange, Well, his numerous attempts to curry my favor have not gone unnoticed, but I cannot feel but irritated by his sudden interest in me. Yet I cannot shake his view, and the man's intentions are not pure. Who are you? Where are you from? From Hono, from Kannada. Well, I'm trying to meditate here, but it's nice to have more friends, so he still has a certain charm. So he's trying to befriend me. And by the way, my only sin is that I'm a novice hunter, so I'm not a perfect Jain, but I'm trying to atone with my past. Trying to reconcile on that. Still not enough. Put it back. Actually, no. Actually, no, leave it. It makes a little difference. No longer my court tutor. There goes my uncle. died in his sleep. And my aunt is still alive. She's doing fine. Oh, it doesn't work. I'm too impatient. But don't worry yourself about the stress you have. There's ways of coping it. Hopefully. I try to meditate, but I knew I've been a bad person. That tiger that I killed long ago, now it's considered a sin because they know that I've committed violence against nature. Especially violence against man. There's many, 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 many men. So many. And I'm very, very dreadful, but it'll slowly go down in time. I should talk to a confidant. Don't care what you all think of me for all these courtiers here, including my ex-wife and Arika. I just simply don't want to be too stressful. When do we get to hold court again? Till 20th of November. But ever since we acquired that diamond mine, we do have a lot of things. It's a lot of it. More so now that we have control of Vengipura, even though we knocked that development down quite a bit, but my little vassal works for me, but if only I had direct control of this, that'd be very good income, but that's just the way it is. And since I got all this money, and there's still time before we can hold court, perhaps I should go on a pilgrimage. Minimum cost is 300. Prepare for the journey. Svatambara pilgrimage. Taking a pilgrimage and visiting a holy site known as Tirtha is a place to help the pilgrim in the crossing over the ocean of samsara, which is full of pain and misery in order to attain moksha. While there are many Tirthas throughout the world, the question is which one shall I opt for? I don't think you should worry about being in debt too much, because your income is very, very good. So whatever amount of gold we get out of this, and then let the tax accumulate. Every little bit helps. So I will go to Shikarji, which is up in Radha, way up there. This temple holding there. It's a long pilgrimage. In a couple of months we'll be out of debt. So you shouldn't worry too much about it. As you make my departure plans, the question of which vow I have to make has come up. I could take the minor form of the 5 great vows for pilgrims visiting the Holy Tirtha. I could even decide to follow a lifestyle of an ascetic and fast during the trip as I drink limited amounts of boiled water and live off the rations given to me by strangers. Of course, I could just stick to the normal vows of a member of the late. Which vows shall I make? Oh, the income's gonna hurt me a little. Let's see. I'm still okay. I think temperance will help me out here. 1 second. Again, I'm following the footsteps of my father. I shall take the 5 great vows and fast as well, just like father. As I prepare for my journey, I know that I'll travel safely under the protection of the gods. While I go with the saviors, I must wait however long I may be gone. Despite the fact I killed that tiger one time, I shall never harm another animal again. I'm not a perfect Jain, but my father, he was a great example. 100. Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I sent you a gift one time, right? Was that you? Received gift. Yeah. So he paid me back. That's nice of you. So we won't be in debt too long. This is going to be a long pilgrimage from Thanjavur all the way up there. Somewhere. There it is. The more the merrier. I am plodding along this lengthy procession towards Lucknow, and thinking of the comforts I left behind in Tanjavur, and I hear my name shouted from the rear. My friend! Oh, yeah, dashed up to me, exclaims, Kadeyaraja, Vikramâtittâ, what luck that we journey toward the very same holy site. Would you care for some company on this long and lonely path to Lucknow? Well, you recently converted because you follow me. You were a yoga scholar when you were a Hindu back then. But my ear is always open to a friend. It's nice to have friends that have so many. He and I spend the remainder of the day's journey chatting about this and that, intrigues, jests, battles, and lovers, old friends and new. We're in the midst of a riveting conversation about military strategies when the train of the folk we've been traveling with suddenly comes to a halt. A tired shout comes from the call. We make camp here. He looks me over with a slight grin on his face and says, Finally! Though, how about a short detour before setting up camp? A long day's journey can make a man thirsty. Oh my goodness! That is very much against Jain ways, as I'm temperate. But tell him, you go on ahead. Sounds a little selfish, so... Don't want to be stressed any more than I have to, but... You do have a certain thing that you had, somewhere. But again, I'm a superstitious person. I had to get away from Shiva because I was very superstitious of what's going on. And I thought taking refuge in the Tirthanankaras would help me. Even though he's a resentful gentleman and he's rather paranoid. But again, he's a Pandya, Kongunadu. You go on ahead. I don't want to have liquid refreshment. Remember, I've taken a vow to follow the way of my father. So you go on ahead. I'd rather be given than just... Here we are, Shikarji. According to the Nirvana Kanda, 20 of the 24 Jain Tirthanankaras attained moksha here on the mountain of Shikarji. Such a storied history made this place one of the most important pilgrimage sites in the Jain community. And as my gaze wanders from the highest peaks to the lowest reaches, I find myself reflecting on my own journey to here and what it means for my life. I have walked the holy path. Now I'm a pilgrim. He died. Old age. Happened while I was out on pilgrimage, as I am now a devoted servant to the faith. You may want to save up some money for you to hold court. My journey has been a long one, but I finally come home again. While much remains the same, something has changed in how the Nirgranta and our father is treating me. I've undergone the journey of a holy man, and the existence has changed something about me, where I could see myself or not. It's good to be home. I'm exhausted. For the next 2 months. Clearly, we've gone through a lot. Now, these Jain festivals that I've noticed. One's between August and September. The other is March and April, but they cost way too much. And I wish we could show off of what those festivals were like, but alas, it's too late for that. If he becomes healthy, then that means he's going to be around a while longer. Hey, I forgot about this. Disrupt schemes. You may never know someone's gonna try to assassinate me. Knowing the cycle of vengeance is still ongoing. It's no longer Palava, it's Vengi Chalukya. And it's been a full year since the end of the war. But we're gonna start saving up some money. So let's speed things up a bit. So I want to end this episode for 2 or 3 things possibly. It's like I did the pilgrimage that I wanted. And that Jainism thing, for those who recall from the old Chola series of Crusader Kings 2, my son Vikramâtittâ and his old friend had taken a copy of the Gamas from the study and brought it into the playroom. He spent hours trying to understand what was written on its pages, talking about Malenatha and the many mysteries of the divine. Vikramâtittâ seems to develop a deep respect for the words that set about our faith. You do well treating the holy words with reverence. As I was saying, in the old series, he did become a Jain, and he did tell his former wife to become a Jain nun. That's what happened in the old series. So that's why we role-played it here in this mini-series to make that happen, because we're just recreating an old story from long ago. Plus, you may never know that I may have to donate more money for this. Oh, very good. Glad you survived the war. And you did kill them, man. Slain in battle. That was during one of the final years of the war. We'll let the mercenary contract expire. I've been studying ancient religious texts and the writings of scholars. They all seem to agree that this age will end in 21,000 years. But my calculations were less than a century away. However, my Sangha Bhatta urged me to keep it to myself. Leave it to the Sangha to avoid panic. What if your calculations are wrong? A reasonable point, Bhatta. Lead down to the path of zealousness, following the path of my father. When is this particular Jain festival? Today I met some important guests from a distant land, but in the middle of our conversation I got the most terrible foot cramp. Everyone had looked around as I held my foot, groaning in pain. My translator awkwardly explained to the foreigners what was going on, and afterwards they seemed to understand it just as awkwardly tried to comfort me. Why me? Oh. No, not that. Between August and September. We'll do this festival soon. Use that money for that. We'll wait for the next text to come in. Patrons of Sculpture. This relates to the Medieval Arts mod, which we'll see more of that in the next series that will be coming to the Lord Master channel. That Norse series. As a reminder, the Norse series will still be coming as part of the North Atlantic Flavor Pack. It'll still be coming soon to the Lord Master channel. He too! What happened? Died in his sleep. He just died. Well, one thing's for certain, he's not going to assassinate me. So just no more rivals. It's all gone now. All of my enemies are gone now. And we will do some of the last acts of this episode. 2, 3 things. 1, hold the royal court. And then we'll attend the Party of Sun Festival. And maybe perhaps during the next year when we get more gold out of this, will attend the Mahir Janama Kalanak Festival. We should end the series in a Jain way, in a peaceful way, to observe for all of these things. But first, we got some business to take care of. Now, let's get down to some business. We hold the court, deal with whatever issues that these petitioners will come in for. That will be one of the last 3 decisions before we will put an end to this mini-series of this South Indian epic cycle, which would likely be known by the alternate name, the Cycle of Vengeance. Also, is it me, or does this roll card look a bit different? Because I recall during the reign of Periaply, that Lankan war banner should be over there. Must have misplaced that. Oh no, let me. Because I recall it was over there, not on that wall. Whoever put that there, I forgive you. I can't be a man to hold grudges anymore. You're a Jan. I'm sorry, it's just that little detail kind of bothered me. I'm like, why is that war banner on this wall and not on this one where my brother placed? Again, that was from the Lankan War, the tributary war, from the 1st and 2nd episodes. Now, let's get to do some business. Just for Versailles to approach. Harboring in exile. A new arrival to my court today is one Hadassah, an envoy from my acquaintance. Oh, Vengi Chalukya. I know that place. Ivraya Vikramâtittâ, it has come to the attention of my liege that you are harboring an individual of particular interest. Karo Nanan, it has a legitimate claim to the Nadu of Nârani. Let me try it. I will try. Raya Gaja Kasari. Vijayadicha requests and demands the return of this errant subject of his. I send us out of the room of my council deliberates. What should we do? Svatambara Jewish. Married to a missionary. So they send you over here. Taking a drink now. Who is this man? Oh, a Palava, I guess. Seems gout is becoming common in these parts. Because I've been seeing a lot of characters with gout lately. Oh, huh. Oh, do I even want to? But hey. Yeah, give him up to him. Again, I'm done holding grudges. Rivals in agreement. I recognize the next set of petitioners immediately. Oh, there are the Patsasami. They're both of them, in fact. The pair are well known for their intense rivalry. Worrying they're not arguing with each other. My lord begins Narokavira. I have to tell you that the people have been satisfied with your wife. We fear that her recent behavior is not becoming for good or Parundevi. And that you do something about it. Are you Rouse or one of them? Let me see. Yeah. Your opinion towards me? Oh, she likes me no matter what. I shall speak to her about their behavior. So I could see to their demands. I'll be submitting procedure again. I'm trying to change my ways personally, ever since the war. My lord, I come from the religious community of Palavaram. in the Nârani of Vengipura. There, wise and pious men have been collecting and preserving the traditional knowledge of Telugu's culture for centuries. As a sign of our goodwill, I offer you this precious anthology of Telugu texts translated into your own language. We hope you accept it and get a new perspective on our people. We have been fighting them for a long time, yes. Not surprisingly, you are a giant, which you do come from Vengipura, where most of those people are giants. Kobja Vishnu Vardhana, that's how you say that. I can read that easily. I graciously accept. It helps with the court grandeur. Gain a little bit of prestige back. He takes his leave, and even though I don't have any landed vassals who are of Telugu culture, but it's just a show of goodwill to, one would think, would try to restore relations after a very devastating war. Of course, nobody knows the Telugu language better than, I assume, you. All this entire time, you didn't know his language. I mean, I noticed you still there at court. I wish you would take your leave and go become a wandering nun, but still, it's just something that you can't do because children are here. So she remains at court. Just living her life, and she won't go against me because she is compassionate. Good thing I didn't have to go spend my money on it, so now here's one of the last 2 acts that I will do before we end this series. 1 second. Here we go. I am illustrious. That's good to know. Actually, 3 things, because I couldn't help but notice that University of Nalanda. It's a famous Buddhist university in Bihar that attracts scholars from around India. Yeah, time for me to visit. I'm becoming more of a traveling person these days. I'm deciding where I should visit the famous university in Nalanda. Nalanda attracts scholars from around India. Nalanda has a number of libraries, scholars, and theologians. Visiting a university is a decent way to try to improve your understanding of the world. Should you go to Nalanda or should you stay in court? I should go. It's up in Magad. When you have the Dharma Chakra mod, it's available to anybody with the Eastern faith. And yes, that includes Zoroastrians. They could go to Nalanda for some reason, even though I don't think they really should, but that's up to the creator of the Dharma Chakra mod, which is, again, I use that for Indian playthroughs like these. Yeah, went to the pilgrimage to Lucknow, and we'll go to Nalanda in Patliputra. This is the place. The university is a place of higher learning, reserved those of good standing and wealth for Deen and authority. It attracts scholars, scientists who debate, study, describe, and ultimately prove their knowledge within its walls. Nalanda University is an important seat of Vedic scholarship and attracts students from as far away as Tibet and China. I like how it says Vedic scholarship. Don't you mean Buddhist? But when there's Mahayana Buddhists that live there, and so there's a small minority of Vajrayana Buddhists. I have arrived at the magnificent University of Nalanda. It's a massive complex of red brick buildings, busy with a bustle of scholars and monks. You've been told that people come here from all over India and beyond in order to study and exchange ideas. The library has a huge amount of texts in every language known to man. It's an impressive place. This is quite amazing. You call me miserable? I confess to being most gracious to you for returning Kaladan to the proper place. You have proven yourself a most honorable and true friend to the Vengi Chalukya, and I would be delighted to continue corresponding with you in the future. Only a fool would not appreciate the benefits of my holding you in high regard. You're clearly not a fool. May you be blessed with long life and bountiful harvests. Strong diplomacy wins over petty politicking. Yeah, it does feel like we're trying to rebuild relationship. Won't work, but simply for the sake of it, just to show it. While at the university, I got the chance to visit the famous Library of Nârani. Its shelves has scrolls, books on many different subjects from around the world. Not just Buddhist texts, but Hindu and Jain texts can also be found here as well. However, as vast as it is, you do not have an eternity, so you have to decide what books to read. What you want to read. Bit of piety because I'm a Jain. Medicine, astrology. I'll study the Jain texts as a little bit of lifestyle anyway. Vegetarian or non-vegetarian? While walking through the university, I came across some monks debating if vegetarianism should be required or not. The monk advocating for vegetarianism argues that it causes the least suffering, while the other monk counters that vegetarianism is not possible when doing the alms rounds, for not all the people would provide food are vegetarians. Are we just to starve? And then, he retorts. The monks then turn to me and ask who had a better point. Well, as a former hunter and hunter of a tiger, prior to conversion to Jainism, as I do not harm animals anymore, it's a sin. But I would side with the vegetarian monk. All Jains are vegetarians, you know. Taking a class. While I'm at the university, I have the opportunity to be in one of the classes for the monks. The question is, though, what sort of class would you like to observe? I shall observe a class on astrology. Think about the astrological texts for once. Visiting the university was quite an experience, and you are glad that you went. It's good to be home. Originally, I was gonna celebrate this feast again for role-playing reasons. Like, you can actually, just like what we did with Diwali from when we were Hindu, where you can do it at any given date, which it doesn't have to follow. But for role-playing reasons, we would attend these festivals on that particular month. But just need to start preparations between March and April. So we'll be doing it around that period. Very good. Certain kinds of edible berries from Araya have gained a positive reputation around parts of the region for their supposed medicinal properties. They're being shipped out in greater numbers to neighboring areas as a result, bolstering local economy. Very good. You can buy these medicinal berries whenever you wish to. Contract expired with that mercenary company as we're no longer at war. It is common practice for you to meditate at some point in the day. Today's meditation has been a rather relaxing one, for which you are grateful for. Om. (8:36). This will be the last year for this episode and this series. And this will be the year of the festivals. There's 2 Jain festivals that I will pay a visit to. And I'm saving up a very large amount of money for this, knowing that there might be some donations. Start on March 1st. Attend the Mahavir Janma Kalyanak Festival to honor the birth of Mahavira. Time to start the preparations. It'll cost you 300 gold for this. The Mahamastaka Bhisheka festival is dedicated to Bahubali, also known as Gomateshwara. The festival is where the grand statue of Gomateshwara is anointed with purified water and sandalwood paste, along with other offerings including milk, sugarcane juice, saffron paste, and more. It will take some time to arrive at the village for the festival. Still, it will likely be worth the trip. Time to make the preparations here. All preparations are finished, and it is time to begin the celebration of Mahavira's birth. As is custom during the festival itself, the Jain community shall be fasting together. Om Namah Siddhanam. Will gain weakened by fasting, which is not that big of a deal as I'm temperate. My daughter has come of age. For his first tutelage, even a child is displayed little natural integration towards diplomatic influence, such as I could come truly understand it. With an excellent grasp of all manners of etiquette, and understanding of all kinds of entertainment, and elegance of it, she'll have little trouble navigating life at court. Charismatic negotiator. You two can be married now. I arrive at the temple for the first part of the festivities of Mahavira Kayanak. The local monks are to give a talk on the nature of ahimsa, compassion, and living a good life. Reading and reciting from the sacred scriptures is also being done. A good speech. Now, marriage is official. After the monks give their speeches, it is time for meditation. After I take my place with the others, I sit on the floor meditating. The question is, what will I meditate on? Compassion or ahimsa? Compassion is asteya. His characters focus on contemplating the vow of asteya, or not stealing, and ahimsa is non-violence. I shall observe ahimsa. You did not pick up the forgiving trait, otherwise you would have got that notification. You got piety instead. Anointing the idol. After the meditation, the monks lead through the anointing statue of Mahavira. I watch as the monks ceremonially bathe the statue before placing the idol upon the palanquin. Namo loe sava sahunam. Now the procession. The monks lead the statue of Mahavira onto a chariot that pulls the statue of Mahavira through the city. Behind the main statue are smaller idols showing the life of the 24th Tirthankara, which is Mahavir. Oh gosh. Sopankana Mokaro Swapavam Hanasano. I mean, I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. For any of you Indian viewers that know Sanskrit, especially in Jain context, I mean, help me if I pronounced it correctly, that you could post in a comment. Now I've got to provide charity. As part of the celebrations of Mahavira Kayanak, it is customary to provide donations to the local community. How much shall you shall be given this time? A small donation. It's sad peasants. Oh, you need a little more than that. Regular donations 150. But a grand donation 300. I got plenty of gold. So gain happy peasants. There you go. And that's throughout of the realm that you hold. Now I gotta donate to the local monastic community. As part of the celebrations of Mahavir Janakayanak. It is customary to provide donations to the local monastic community. How much you shall be given this time? Obviously, with the mod creator, I think he put that there. It's like unhappy monks, but it's actually happy, not unhappy. So it's a bit of a typo error on his part, but still, it's something that should be notified. I mean, at least I'm presenting it on a video to point that out. So here's another 300 for the monks. Mahavir Janva Kayanak concludes. It has come to an end. It has been a grand time celebrating the festivities, but all things must come to an end. With its end also marks the end of the fast. And of all auspicious mantras, it is indeed the foremost auspicious one. Now I'm exhausted for a week. Now all we need is save some money, and you might be alright, but you're also an abhorrent sycophant. Who is this woman to tell me such things? But hey, it's calming that someone else decides to let out their anger, whereas I don't hold anger anymore. I no longer hold grudges. So all you need is this amount of gold for the pyres on the festival. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, since... where is it? Seneschal, there you are. You just there, you're still here. Because we're trying to get this controlled growth up faster, especially that this is an area with very high income. Even though we kind of devastated it. It's got a harbor and hunt lodges. But that vassal of mine pays me a whole lot through that diamond mine. I've heard stories about brave soldiers dying like flies before they even set foot on a battlefield. But me, Uriah, this aching, furious nightmare is not meant for me. As yet another meal forced its way up my throat. I pray for redemption. My nostrils sting with a sharp stench of bile. Do not worry, my lord. Typhus is treatable, I assure you. It's a killer disease. Do no more than what is necessary. She told me to lie down on my bed and offer my hands. Firmly she rubbed and slapped my palms until they were red. And repeated the treatment on my soles. As a finishing touch, she pinched me gently up and down my limbs. This odd procedure turns out just what I needed. For now, the worst of my symptoms is alleviated, and the world seems a little brighter. Excellent work. It's a huge boost, but you're not out of the woods yet. It's still going to kill you. Well, actually, no, you're still poor, but you're not near death. But the berries. You have 25. Get the berries. I've sent servants to purchase some of the renowned berries of Uriah. I can use these medicinal berries for a variety of purposes. I could drink various herbal teas made using these berries as a health tonic. Now how many berries did I ask my servants to buy again? 15, 30, 45. A large amount to last me a long while. For a medium health boost. I'm still poor, but this is not going to kill me. But they say it's treatable. It's camp fever, plagued by rashes, fever, and coughs. I've been a soldier for most of my life. But if this is how my life ends, well, I should have taken that medicine focus, but it's too late for that. I've come across a book describing how the ancient Negranta used trances and visions of ecstasy to commune with the devotee. It seemed a strange practice in our modern age, but perhaps there's something that could be learned from. What do the other texts say? I attempt to learn more about the practice through books rather than imitate. because you may never know that this could be an unhealthy way of doing such things. The more I dig into the ancient text, the more I discover, could the mysterious practices of the ancient Nârani predate even Jainism itself? Seems stumbled across the remarkable. No, Jainism has always existed, as is the universe, which has always existed and will continue to exist. This is teaching me so much about my faith. If only I have iron constitution, then that can save me. Oh, thank you for the large amount of money from these additional taxes. Despite my illness, I still intend to go to that festival, even if it kills me. Just wait till September. Unlike many before me, I was strong enough to survive the ravages of the dreaded camp fever. It was a brutal challenge, I will not deny it, but I persevered. I lived to fight another day. Oh, I thought I was gonna die, but no, I survived typhus. Oh, thank Mahavir. My faith is strong. But after all, I am a superstitious person. Some would think that typhus was a sign of a curse, of my sins, of war, and all that. But again, I'm moving on from that part of my old soldiering life. Because camp fever is usually applied to anyone that gets it, to anybody who served in the military and out there. Now, let's end the episode with this. Attend the Paryashana Festival. The Paryashana Festival is the most holiest of festivals where Jains come together to study and fast. I mean, I am much healthier these days now that I have the berries, which these berries probably have saved my life, one would think. Paryashana preparations. It is that holy time of the year where the Jain community comes together for the Paryashana. The Paryashana is about coming together and fasting and meditating on the 5 great vows. It is regarded as the holiest festival in the Jain year, and this year I shall be hosting it. Time to make the preparations. Hosting the local monks. It is custom that it is my duty to open my home during this holy time. A number of guests and monks from the local community shall be staying in the guest rooms of the palace. Prepare the rooms. Now fasting begins. As part of the Paryashana festival, it is customary to fast for 8 days, not eating any food during the holy time, and drinking boiled water just once a day. The fast begins now. It's only for 12 days, so do not worry. I am healthier, and my faith in Jainism is strong. Reading from the holy text. During Paryashana, it is customary to read the Kava Sutra, which contains the biographies of the Tirthanakaras, notably Parshvanta and Mahavira. It is good to read the sacred texts. Got the piety. I was watching up there. And look, my wife is looking after me. Thank you. Procession to the temple. As part of the celebration of Sayana, it is common to have a procession through the community to the largest Jain temple. Should I be the one to lead a procession, or should I let the monks lead the procession? Honestly, let the monks lead. They shall lead because, again, I have this reputation. It would be right to let the monks lead by example. The 5 great virtues. As part of the Payasana celebrations, it is customary to meditate upon the 5 great vows. The question is, which one shall I focus meditating on? I already contemplated ahimsa earlier this year. Now the others. Satya, which is the vow of Satya or truth. Asteya, you know that one. That's the vow of not stealing. Aparigraha is focused on non-possessions. Or brahmachari, which is chastity. Brahmacharya. That's what I shall go for. Dopdashami. As part of the Payasana celebrations on the 6th day of the festivities, it is customary to visit the Jain temple and light incense to burn dub or dried incense powder in front of the idols of the Tirthanakaras. This will help burn the karma away and to help liberate my soul. Burn my karma away. Asking for forgiveness. The final day of Payasana as Samvatsari. This is the day where we ask our communities, our neighbors, and all living beings to forgive us of the actions that we have done in the past year. May all souls forgive me. Just more piety didn't become compassion. Culture discard barracks. Now, Payasana has concluded and my fast is now over and the monks have left. It was good to celebrate once again. It's good to be back home. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will end this series right on October 1st. Actually, no, October 23rd. Because when I posted all of these episodes here, this was on Diwali. So, wash your hands, please. So it would be proper to end it right on the day of when we posted all these episodes of this mini-series on October 23rd. So, we hope you people have enjoyed this epic cycle of a series and decided to end this episode on a bittersweet and hopeful note, especially during his bout with typhus, the camp fever, that nearly killed him. But it was the berries that grew in Urayur, just out of luck. Bought some berries, it helped him. He lives, and he will continue for the rest of his life, as we can imagine, to try to live a life of a good Jain, despite his past sins of hunting and murdering, especially of all the people he's killed during those 2 wars of that period. So, as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, the next Crusader Kings 3 series on the Lord Master channel will be coming soon. It'll be set up in western Norway, in Segnafylke. That's where this series will be set in. It'll be part of the North Atlantic Flavor Pack. Recordings will begin as soon as the Flavor Pack is released. So we'll see you then. But until then, so long for now, and as the Jains around here would say, and we wish you peace.